Welcome to the New Rise Way. There was once a boy who lived in a small forgotten village surrounded by hills and silence. He was ordinary in every way with no special skills or talents. People barely noticed him. He walked alone, he studied alone, he ate alone. His name was Dev, and even his name felt too quiet for the world. Dev was not born into wealth or comfort. He wore the same clothes for years and his shoes had more holes than leather. At school he sat at the back, not by choice but because no one ever asked him to come forward. Teachers passed him in the halls like he was air. Students called him slow, sometimes useless. He never argued, he never fought back, he just listened and lowered his eyes. But there was one thing Dev had that no one else did: a strange obsession with time. While others wasted hours in gossip and games, Dev counted every second. He believed that time was the only thing that treated him fairly. It gave him the same 24 hours as it gave everyone else, and that was the only thing he trusted. Each morning before the sun rose he ran up the hill behind his village, not because he liked running but because he believed pain was the way out. Each night when others watched shows or scrolled through their phones, Dev lit a candle and studied old torn books he found in garbage bins. He memorized pages he could barely read. He wrote on scraps of paper. He believed that one day it would all matter, even if no one believed in him yet. Years passed and nothing changed. He was still invisible, still average, still mocked. His teachers thought he would drop out, his classmates thought he would disappear, and Dev himself began to wonder if maybe they were right. But he did not stop. He kept waking up early, he kept running, he kept reading, he kept building a life no one could see. Then came the national scholarship test, a paper so difficult even the best students feared it. Dev applied in silence. He walked to the exam center in shoes that barely held together. He wrote with a pen borrowed from a stranger, and when he submitted the paper he felt nothing, no excitement, no fear, just emptiness, because he had learned not to expect anything from the world. Weeks later results were announced and his village did not care until the news reached the headmaster that someone from their forgotten school had topped the entire district. They checked the list once, then twice, then again and again, but the name did not change. It was Dev, the boy no one saw, the boy who never spoke, the boy who ran at dawn and studied by candlelight. People were shocked. They gathered around his house. They brought sweets and cameras and questions. They wanted to know his secret. They called him a genius, a prodigy. They said they always knew he was special, but Dev only smiled because he had seen their faces before. He had heard their laughter, their whispers, their silence, and now he knew how quickly the world could change its mask. With the scholarship, Dev moved to the city to study in a prestigious academy. He lived in a small rented room with a single light and a leaking ceiling, but to him it felt like a palace. He studied harder than ever. He learned languages, science, art and philosophy. He worked part-time to survive. He slept less and dreamed more, and slowly he built a future from the pieces of a broken past. Years went by and Dev became a respected name, not just for his achievements but for his discipline, his humility, his silence. He was invited to speak on stages where once he had sat unnoticed in the last bench. People listened to him with awe and admiration, but he rarely spoke of his success. He only spoke of effort and time and pain. Then one winter morning, while walking to his office, he saw a small boy on the footpath sitting with a book. His clothes were torn, his feet were bare, and yet his eyes were focused. Dev walked past, but something made him stop. He turned back, sat beside the boy and asked him what he was reading. The boy showed him a page filled with formulas he had copied from a textbook he had found in a dumpster. Dev looked at the boy and saw himself not just a reflection but a reminder. He opened his bag, took out his own notebook filled with years of learning and handed it to the boy without a word. Then he took off his coat and wrapped it around the child's shivering shoulders and walked away before the boy could ask his name. That evening Dev wrote a letter and placed it on his table. He then went to his rooftop, looked up at the stars and smiled. His body was tired, his heart was full, and his purpose complete. The next morning they found him sitting on the edge, cold but peaceful, like someone who had finally rested after a lifetime of running. The letter simply read: "Sometimes the world forgets you, sometimes it breaks you, sometimes it buries you in silence. But if you keep going, if you keep burning in the dark, you become a fire, and one day someone will find your light and it will save them." Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more motivational stories.